DreAllDay.com.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as DreAllDay, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are on part 2 of our mini series here on how manifestation works. If you didn't hear the intro to this, then listen to yesterday's episode. Let's get right into it, picking up where we left off, which is at point number 4, how manifestation works. Number 4, be bold. Be bold. If you're going to manifest, understand that the universe, people, and luck all respond to boldness much more than they respond to timidity. As a matter of fact, most people do not respond to timidity except unless they're responding by taking advantage of you in some way, shape, or form. All right, you need to be bold if you're going to make things happen in your life. And manifestation is a form of making things happen. It's about taking control of the process of things happening in your life rather than just allowing things to happen. You're taking control over the process, and you need to be bold in order for that to occur. Okay? Even if you are doing or saying something that is wrong and or inaccurate, or you have the wrong information, or you have the wrong approach, or you're in the wrong place, but you are doing all these things in a bold way, the universe responds to you positively. Have you ever heard a person or even been a person who was talking about something that was absolutely wrong? You had the incorrect information. You didn't actually have the right information. You thought you did though, because the way you presented what you were presenting was said so boldly and so authoritatively and with so much clarity and confidence that people believed you and followed you anyway, even though you were absolutely wrong. You ever heard somebody being absolutely wrong and people still listen to them anyway? Right here is where many of you can insert a joke about your least favorite politician. All right, so you can say this politician was always wrong. They were always lying. They always had bad information and they destroyed the country, but they had all these people who were following them and listening to everything that they said, and it didn't make any sense. Any of you know anybody or know of anyone who fits that description? All of you probably have someone who you can fill in the gap with. And all of us have probably been that person at certain points as well. We believe something so strongly and we said it in such a way that had so much energy that other people were willing to listen to us, even though it turns out we didn't even know what the hell we were talking about. Why? Because this is how the universe works. The universe responds to boldness and confidence. It doesn't respond to anything else. Even if you're doing or saying something that is wrong, again, the universe will respond to it positively. Why is this? Because people buy your energy before they buy anything else about you logically. Anything that requires no logical processing, people buy your energy first. Meaning, if you have a terrible sales pitch, but you really believe in what you're selling and your energy is strong, you will probably make some sales, even if your pitch is terrible and your product is not that great. Why? Because you believe in what you're selling and your energy is what people are actually buying. If, on the other hand, you have the best sales pitch in the world, it is already proven and tested by the best salespeople in the world, and your product is amazing and it is proven to be worth 100 times more than what you're charging for it, but you don't have the right energy, and you, for whatever reason, don't believe in yourself and or you don't believe in your pitch and or you don't believe in your product, you will make no sales even though your product is amazing and the pitch is perfect. Why? Because the energy that you're showing up with is so weak that nobody can follow it. Even if they wanted to, they can't follow it because your energy is just way too weak. People had to believe that you believe in order for them to believe. All right, for them to believe in you, they got to believe that you believe in you. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, I was out at the park with my son. We were in a high foot traffic area, and I noticed this kid was walking with his mom, young kid. He wasn't that tall. He was maybe 8 years old, something like that. And it looked like he was doing some form of fundraising, and he was selling what looked to be candy. I couldn't tell exactly what he was selling. And I'll tell you how I couldn't tell exactly what he was selling, because he never offered to sell any to me. Now, I like candy. I have not eaten much candy. I actually stopped eating candy so much, probably about a month from when you're hearing this. So it's been several months by the time you hear it. But I stopped eating candy as much. But had this kid approached me just yesterday and offered to sell me some candy, let's just say it costs $1 or $2, if he had something that I liked, maybe a Snickers bar or some Skittles or something like that, I probably would have purchased some candy from him as long as he could have taken Cash App or Apple Pay or something like that. I probably would have bought some candy off him. Now he's walking, he's about 7, 8 years old. He had his mom with him. So his mom is kind of walking behind him as he's walking around, and the kid is walking and just deciding who to approach. And he's a little white kid, and he had his mom, who's white, there with him. Now, yesterday, again, I was not in a suit. I was not in a business suit. I was in a tank top and some basketball shorts and some Jordan sneakers, and I had a snapback hat on. I had my son with me. My son's only 2 years old, so I don't know. Maybe I look threatening. I don't know, but this little white boy did not approach me. He approached this guy who was sitting on the other side. My son was like playing in this little water fountain, and they approached this white guy who was sitting on the other side of the fountain with headphones in, so he couldn't even hear. The kid walked up to him. The guy didn't even notice at first. He had to take his headphones out, and he said no. And then the kid just kept walking. And I didn't stare the kid down because I didn't want to make it obvious that I wanted him to stop me. I didn't stare him down, but I was standing there. I was available. I wasn't on my phone. I was just looking around. I didn't look directly at him, but they just walked around and just walked past me and didn't even try to sell me anything. He didn't make a sale. Now, why didn't he make a sale? Because he didn't try. Simple as that. And he didn't make the sale because he didn't try. Had he tried, I would have bought. Again, if he had anything that I could have talked myself into eating, I would have bought the candy and I even would have ate it. The point is, folks, he had a product that I would have bought had he just had the confidence to approach me, or his mom. I mean, his mom was with him, so it's not like he was walking around by himself. His mom could have said, hey, approach this guy. But who knows what was going on in her mind. She is setting him up to be a failure in sales, because when you're selling something and you're doing outbound sales like that, you approach everybody. With that kind of product that he's selling. Now, if you're selling some type of, multi-million-dollar software, then you have a set of companies that you think might be interested in it. But you're selling something like some damn candy bars or whatever the hell he was selling. It was some everyday thing, because he's just approaching random people on the street. Okay, I'm a random person on the street. Approach me. I might fucking buy it, but he didn't buy it. And I don't even blame the kid. Eventually, he's going to get to the point of blaming the kid when he gets older. But at this point, I got to blame his mom, because his mom should have said to him, go approach that man. Yeah, I know he is a black man. Maybe we don't have much experience with black men, son, but you're a salesperson and he looks like he might have some money. All right, go sell him something. He might buy it. And if I say, what's the worst I'm going to do? Say no, what am I going to do? Beat the kid up? He didn't offer. So his mom set him up. So I blame the mom for this situation. He should have had his dad with him, because his dad would have had him approach me. But anyway, if you have a great sales pitch, but you don't make the pitch, or you don't believe in your pitch, well, how much money do you make? Zero. If you have a trashy sales pitch and what you're selling is garbage, but you believe in yourself, guess what you'll make? Money, sales. Give you another story that fits right with that one that I just gave you. This is about 4 years ago, maybe. I'm sitting outside in Brickell, downtown Miami. And Brickell is a high foot traffic area, even higher than the area I was in yesterday. And this is before the suit. I was not in the suit. I was in what I just described to you. Tank top, basketball shorts, Jordan sneakers, snapback hat. Some people may not approach me just because of that outfit. I'm sitting outside in Brickell, and this little white kid, same situation, probably a little bit older, maybe 10 years old, white kid. He had on a Boy Scouts uniform. He approached me. Now, I'm sure his parent was somewhere around, but I did not see the parent. The little boy just approached me. I was sitting at a table. I wasn't even standing up. I wasn't even walking. I was sitting at a table outside of a Capital One cafe, which is similar to a Starbucks. This kid approached me and said, "Excuse me, sir." And his pitch was down. And he was very, I know he had a dad in his life teaching him how to do it, because he approached me very respectfully, very professionally. His voice was very clear. He made strong eye contact. He even had a very firm handshake. He said, "I'm with the Boy Scouts," and he had his whole pitch down. And we're selling these coupon books that they have things like, and he started naming a couple places and things in there. And all the coupons that he was selling, I would not use those coupons to buy anything that was in none of those coupons was anywhere that I shop. I didn't want any of that shit. And after he gave me his pitch only took about 30 seconds. I said to him, I would not buy anything from any of those coupons. And as a matter of fact, son, I don't even want your coupon book, but I appreciate your approach so much. And I appreciate the fact that me, as a black guy sitting out there, of all the people who were out there that he could have approached, I was probably the one that the average person would be least likely to approach, just because of the way that I looked. Most people would not have approached me. He approached me. And just because of the fact that he approached me, and I even said this to him, just because of the fact that you approached me and I like the professionalism of your pitch, I will give you the $10 and I don't even want the coupons. And I gave him $10 and I didn't even take the coupons. That's the point, is that if you're willing to ask, you can get what you want. But a lot of people are not willing to ask for what they want. So your energy, folks, your willingness to approach someone conveys a certain level of confidence. Your willingness to try conveys a certain level of confidence, and your unwillingness to try also conveys a different level of confidence. Again, I noticed a kid who didn't even try to sell to me. I knew he was selling shit. I saw him approach that guy. He didn't approach me. And then I saw this other kid. He didn't approach these other people, at least not when I noticed him. He approached me. Why did he approach me? He had the confidence to do so, and that's what he walked away with, money. Okay? Your energy, folks. Your energy must be on. You got to be bold to get what you want in life. You cannot just sit back and hope that it finds its way to you. Indecisions, lack of positive energy, they block momentum. All right, 2 key elements of manifestation are positive energy and decisiveness. So you got to know what you want. You got to be willing to go for it when you see it. Point number 5. Today's topic, once again, we're on part 2 of our mini series here, is the keys to manifestation. Number 5, do not believe in magic. Anybody who's done any study of actual magic, I'm talking like David Blaine, Harry Houdini, magic, that kind of magic, you all understand there's no such thing as magic. It's not actual magic. What most of us call magic is simply distracting the attention of your audience, whoever you're doing the magic trick for. You distract their attention with one thing while you're doing something else somewhere else that they just don't notice. And then you mix it in with a very deft and expert level sleight of hand. So you are good with your hands and moving things around quickly and smoothly, but that's not really magic. It's just that you're really good with your hands. You're not magically making a coin appear behind somebody's ear or a dollar appear in somebody's pocket. You're not actually doing that. It's magic, quote unquote magic. All it is you're deceiving people by getting them to notice one thing while you're actually doing something somewhere else. And then by the time they put their attention where it's supposed to be, you already did the thing and you did it so quickly and smoothly, they don't even notice it. And it feels like, quote unquote, magic. What it really is not even sleight of hand. It's sleight of mind. Because if you can distract another person's mind, you can make something seem like magic when it really ain't magic at all. And I'm not saying that it's not a skill, because it is a skill to be able to slip $1 in somebody's pocket or take their watch off their wrist and they don't even notice it. What I'm saying is this stuff doesn't just happen out of nowhere. That's my point here. When we talk about manifestation, these things do not just happen out of nowhere. Manifestation means you need mental alignment combined with physical follow through. All right, those aren't just random things that just happen just because you wished it. You got to mentally be in the right place. You got to stay mentally in the right place. And then you have to physically continue to follow up on your desires. All that is how manifestation happens. Without those things, you're not manifesting. Without those 3 things, you don't manifest. Clarity of thought, consistent mentally, and consistent physically. All 3. Your mindset must stay in the right place. You got to create a physical environment around which you can achieve your desired results. Physical environment means the way that you operate, the things that you do, and also like literally where you're doing it, who you're doing it for, who you're doing it with. If this means changing your associations, if it means changing your physical location, if it means changing your physical habits, all of these play a role. In short, manifestation does not happen without your active and direct involvement. If you want to manifest, you must be actively and directly involved in the manifestation of the things that you want, not just sitting around hoping that they appear. Point number 6. Today's topic, once again, is how manifestation works. Number 6, you attract what you are, not what you say. You attract what you are, not what you say. What this means is you must energetically and physically and actively embody everything that you are looking to manifest. Let me say that again. Energetically, physically, and actively embody everything that you are looking to manifest. So when you hear me talk about things such as being, doing, and having, that process, notice the order of those 3 terms. The first thing is the being, not the doing. The first thing is the being, not the doing. Most people make the mistake right here in this process. They go straight to the actions, or what I have to do. That's the first question most people ask when they're thinking about achieving a goal. What do I have to do? Well, the problem is you didn't ask the right question. The right question is, who do I need to be? That's the right question. Who do I need to be is about your mental clarity, is about your focus, is about what you are consistently telling yourself mentally. What is a consistent self-conversation that you are having? What does that conversation sound like? When that's right, then you're being the person you need to be. Then you can do what you need to do. Then you'll have the outcomes that you want to have. The first step is the being. This is where most people fail because they jump straight to the actions. Get yourself mentally in the right space, then take action. Any of you who plays a sport, if you ever played a sport competitively, what do we do before a game? What do we do before a match or a competition? What do? We get ourselves mentally in our zone. So we get where we need to be mentally. And different people do it different ways. Different people like to get into different states. The same person, the same athlete might get into different states for different games or against different opponents, depending on different situations. But we all understand that before a game, there are certain things that we want to do to get ourselves into a proper frame of mind so we can go out there and do the things that we need to do, right? All of us understand that, right? Any athlete here understands this. Any of you who is a parent of or a spouse of an athlete, you understand this. The athlete has to get into their mental space and then they can go out there and perform. They go out there and perform without getting to the right mental space, they might lose. Not because their skills went away, but because their mind has not gotten into the right zone. Therefore, it has not recruited all of their skills, and therefore their skills don't show up the way that they expect their skills to show up because you didn't get the mind in the right place first. Again, being, doing, having in order. 1, 2, 3. This is why athletes get in the zone first, being, then they go play the sport, doing, then they get the trophy, having. 1, 2, 3. When you skip the being spot and you go straight to the doing, your doing feels off and you don't get the outcome you want. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because something wrong with your process. Does everyone understand what I'm saying here? Many people fail right here at this spot. Remember, you attract what you are, not what you say. So what you are can change from moment to moment. You can get into a certain zone for the sport, and when the game's over, you can relax a little bit. You got to get yourself mentally in a space where you need to be first, then take action. In addition to this, understand that being and then doing this needs to be followed for long enough for the universe to catch up. This is an important point. The being and doing has to be followed for long enough that the universe sees that you're serious and that you mean it, so that it can get the rest of the world to line up with what you're trying to do. In other words, just because you decided about something and you said it and you got yourself in the right mental state and you're feeling all good and you're doing all the right stuff for a day or a week or a month or even a year, that does not mean that the universe is ready to catch up to where you're at, which means you have to be disciplined enough to stick to the plan and stick to your system and stick to doing the things that you're supposed to do over and over and over and over again until you get the result that you want. The universe is not working on your schedule. You're working on your schedule. The universe will catch up to your schedule when it catches up to your schedule. Your job is to be disciplined enough to stick to your script, even when the universe has not yet shown an inclination to align with what you want at the time that you want it to happen. The world that we live in has inaccurately conditioned too many people to believe that just because you thought something or even did something or even said something or even intended something, that you are owed certain results instantly and certain gratification instantly. You are owed nothing. Just because you did these things, you are not owed any type of instant results nor instant gratification. Instant gratification is for children. Adults understand delayed gratification, meaning you do the work now, you get the result later. Not I do the work now, I get the result now. There are some times in life when you do get the ROI immediately upon completion of action. There are many times in life when you don't. All right, some of you, the way that you do business or the way your business operates, you use net 90 payout terms, right? So you do some work with someone, you have an agreement, you do the work is delivered, you've completed the work, they agreed the work is completed, you send them an invoice and they have 90 days to pay you. You got to wait 90 days to get your money, even though you did the work already and you finished it already. Now, if you're working with me and you're working in my space or whatever space you're working in, but you're working with me as your coach, we're going to get you to where you get paid before you do work. But some of you do business where you get paid 90 days later, 30 days later, or whenever the bill is due. All right. Anybody works with me, you know, we don't do that. All right. I get you paid. I'm going to help work with you. You get paid now, not later. But anyway, the point is with the universe, sometimes you can't dictate to the universe in this way. And they say is net 90 is net 90. Okay. Net 90 means you have 90 days to pay this invoice. Now, again, if you're working with me, it's not 90. It's like 90 seconds to pay this invoice, not 90 days. But understand when it comes to the universe, they do kind of get to dictate a little bit more than humans get to dictate. So you got to stick to the script, ladies and gentlemen, for long enough for the universe to catch up to you as your results may be on back order. Let me say that sentence one more time. You have to stick to the script for long enough for the universe to catch up to you as the results that you want may be on back order. Does everybody understand that metaphor? If you don't, listen to it again until you get it. Let's recap today's class, which is part 2 of our 2-part mini series, which is how manifestation works. Point number 4, be bold. The universe responds to boldness. It responds to directness. It responds to confidence. It responds to intentional and conscious behavior, not timidity. It doesn't respond to hesitation. I told you 2 different stories. I saw this little kid, probably about maybe 7 or 8 years old, out yesterday at the park with his mom. And he did not approach me. And when he was clearly selling something, looked like candy, he didn't approach me. Had he approached me, I probably would have bought some of his candy. But he didn't try, so he didn't make a sale. Whereas a couple of years ago, I'm outside, same type of outfit, and there's a little white kid, a little bit older without his parents with him. He approached me and offered me something that I didn't even want to buy, but I gave him the money anyway because I appreciate the professionalism and the directness and the confidence in his approach. Fortune favors the bold. Point number 5, do not believe in magic. All right, what most of us call magic is really just sleight of hand and distracting other people's minds. And in manifestation, things do not just magically appear. You have to actually do something in order for the magic, quote unquote, to occur, which means you have to be mentally aligned. You got to stay mentally aligned. You got to have clarity, and you must take action that aligns with that mindset. Number 6, you attract what you are, not what you say. In other words, you must be the person first, then you do the things, then you have the outcome. The attraction happens at the end. People talk about the law of attraction as if it's the first thing you do. No, the law of attraction is the last thing that happens is when you attract the thing. You attract the thing based on your actions, and you take actions based on who you are. And if you don't get yourself who you are aligned in the right way, it doesn't really matter what you do. Some of you right now are stuck in this do loop of doing things, action, 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 but you haven't gotten yourself mentally in the right space. So it really doesn't matter what you do because your mind is not aligned with your behavior. Therefore, your behavior is never going to produce the desired result because your behavior is not in the right space. This is why you got to get the mindset right first. This is why mindset is the foundation of what we do at Work on Your Game University. And this is the reason why you need to join Work on Your Game University and have me as your coach so we can get all this mindset stuff where it's supposed to be so that your actions, which may be as diligent as they could possibly be, actually start producing the results that they're going to produce because they are properly activated and properly coded. That happens through the mindset frame. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Get me as your coach so we can stop playing these games and you can stop making these mistakes that are costing you your most valuable resource, which is your time. Work on your game. DreAllDay.